Hello, this is Hero. This is Trident Maple, and this is part of the training process. I've done this at least 4 or 5 times this year alone. Well, it's out of necessity. That was out of necessity, but that's not the best technique. So what I'm going to do now is go in here and hand prune, because you see some of these things are not conducive to good bonsai. The technique that you just saw was one of those necessary evils because I have too many. But then every so often, you do have to go in and get these. These were shooting straight up, got cut off, but those will not help us in the future. Well, the reason I use this clipper method is so that I don't ruin the taper. If you don't do something, then it gets so heavy up there, then we'll ruin our taper, and then our apex will be ruined too. So yes, it's not a great technique, but for me it's necessary because I can't get to everything when necessary. Like I was saying, this thing is 4 or 5 times this year alone in terms of pruning. So if I had nothing but time, then I could do this method all the time, which will be a lot better, but then a bunch of stuff will get neglected. See, inside I have the taper and movement, and so that stopgap technique will help maintain that. But now I need to get some sunlight in here. Oh yeah, this has been dug out of the ground probably 2 years ago, maybe 3 years ago. And there's some big cuts because this was a big tree that's growing wild underneath the big mother plant. So yeah, I've been getting a lot of my stuff on the property. See, as I clean up, you can see there is a nice movement and taper, and then because of all this wild growth, it's starting to heal over. So yeah, there's some logic to my madness here. Just trying to do the best I can with the time that I have. But see, look. Oh, look at that. It's really coming together now. So another year or so, we could probably put it in a bonsai pot. If we still have some. That's been the problem, is finding a decent bonsai pot at a decent price. So, and the success that I'm having is based on fertilizing heavy. These are not bonsai yet. These are pre-bonsai, and they're in a material state. So feed it as heavy as you could do it without burning the tree, right? And then you'll have these vigorous growth, and you just keep cutting back, and eventually you'll have the ramification. So I got rid of all the problem stuff for now. There's a few others, but it's not that necessary to be that exact at this state, because this is getting close to being a bonsai, but still, I think we should spend more time. It depends on your standards too. Some people considered bonsai way before this, but to me, this is still in that material state. Here's another one. Well, if you didn't like that clipper method, you can do something like this, and I consider these like mini head shears. You could take multiple branches and cut them. What you got to do is get rid of these really long ones so that you have something that you could look at and then have a chance at styling. When all this is in the way, it's really hard to see anything. So that's why a lot of times I'll just run around with these on the bench and then just use the clipper and take the blower and then pick up all the cut branches and leaves. Yeah, well, I'm a commercial guy. We gotta do everything fast around here. But those of you that are hobbyists, yeah, you could take your time. And see, even these are fairly fast, right? But so what we're missing is, you see this thing here, it's kind of hard to see, but it went straight up, see? So those don't belong. So you're gonna have to kind of get in and clean that up. Make sure we don't run into problems in the future by leaving some of that stuff. Oh, I think, can you see this one? This one here, I cut the top, but it goes straight up, so straight off. So you could see, starting to see the shape again. Now we do have to occasionally get it open so we get the sunlight in. If we kept just trimming the outside, then it gets so tight the inside gets unhealthy. That's usually the problem of most people in their hedge. They just keep hedging it so it gets dense inside. Okay, so once again, we got our apex. Okay, this was growing wild in the ground and cut it, and it's starting to roll over. It's gonna take another couple years before this actually heals over. So in the meantime, we're gonna make sure that we're guiding this along the way so that it'll come together. Oh yeah, so apex is weak, but we don't want to cut too much off because we'll wait for this to heal over first. So I'm just going to do a very rough cut and then just stick it back in the bench, and then, because if you start styling too soon, then these will never heal. So I like to take my time, take care of that business when it's still doable, and then start worrying about the rest later. So you can see from here to here, the transition is too abrupt because this was just a small branch and it needs to go bigger. So is to let this get really tall, very vigorous, and then get the girth on here, and then we cut it back. Because, like I said, this transition between here is too abrupt. It should be at least a half the thickness of this, so it'll take a number of years. So I'm just gonna, well, I shouldn't do what I was doing. I should think about what I should have done was to let this grow, but I was doing everything with a head shear, which probably was a mistake. So once again, do as I do. No, don't do as I do as I say. Yeah, but see, the base is really good. Because I dug it out of the ground, the base is really good. Oh, this has probably been growing in the ground good 20 years. And if you started as a seedling on the bonsai, probably take you more than 30 years to get to this state. So anyway, yeah, but I still got the problem of this healing and not enough transition, a good transition. So I got to remember not to prune this thing and just let it grow. Chapters. So this one here was not as good as I had hoped, but that's the reality. And so we'll probably see this again sometime in the future as this gets healed over. So, well, so these two have been the Trident Maple, and I'll see you again real soon in another chapter, and hopefully I'll pick one that is what I thought it was going to be. I thought this was going to go to the next step, and I'm finding that we have to wait till we get two things squared away. So anyway, see you again real soon in another chapter. So this has been two very large Trident Maples, but dug out of the ground, so that not much time spent on training yet.